From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is a Thunder Update. I'm Jenni Carlson. Apparently, Kevin Durant has his first opponent of the season, and the guy doesn't even wear short shorts. It's Stephen A. Smith of ESPN. Anthony Slater joins us on the phone. And Anthony, these two have gotten into a little bit of a war of words. Stephen A. Smith making some comments last week. Kevin Durant responding. Now, Stephen A. Smith on Monday morning going on First Take and having what some would consider a meltdown. How did we get to this point where things are so heated?
Yeah, well, it didn't start really as like a personal battle. It just kind of started on, like you mentioned, First Take, his show last Tuesday morning, I believe. He just kind of mentioned that he was hearing that Durant had been like kind of eyeing the Lakers if he leaves the Thunder in free agency. And then, what's really at the surface of all this is just the way the internet is these days, and it just kind of exponentially grew from Stephen A. Smith saying that, and then suddenly it was everywhere. Every blog picked up on it, and the headlines weren't, stopped kind of being that maybe he'd go there, and it was, kind of turned into, oh, he's going to the Lakers type thing. That kind of stuff gets to Durant. He reads Twitter, he reads everything, and it was all linked back to what Stephen A. Smith said. So then when Durant was asked about it, I believe it was Thursday or Friday, I asked him, what's your response to it? And that's when it kind of got personal. He said, I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith. My friends and family don't. He's lying. He's making up stories, basically, is what he said. And Stephen A. Smith, a prideful guy, as we've seen many times in the past, didn't take that well, and he wasn't. First Take didn't happen throughout the weekend, so it sounded like he was boiling on it all weekend, and then, as you mentioned, he kind of exploded this morning.
Industry. We really want to go here? We really want to start something with me? You sure about that?
Yeah, it was about 4.5 or 5 minutes worth of ranting, meltdown, however you want to term it, and maybe you look at it as justified. I don't know. There's probably some gradations of all of that, but Anthony, I guess ultimately, the question is, does this make any difference? Does it have larger ramifications on Durant, on his relationship with Stephen A. Smith's employer, ESPN? Any sort of long-term ramifications? Do we expect to hear more from Durant on this? He was not available Monday after all this came out. What do we think about all of that?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like he's just kind of trying to let, there's so much good going on for him right now in his world, which is, the NBA season's getting cranked up. He's about to return to the court on Wednesday. He looked great at the scrimmage. He's healthy again. I think he didn't think it was going to blow up like it has, and I think he's not really going to respond. I'm sure somebody will ask him, but I don't expect him to return to that, because then it'll just drag on a little bit too long. The one thing I think long term that might be interesting is how other people handle their sourced reports with Kevin Durant, knowing that he may call you out if you come out with a report that's not directly linked back to him or the people within his close community. So I'm just kind of interested to see what's the next one that comes out and how he handles it. Yeah,
Durant making it clear over the summer that if the story doesn't come from him, his agent, or his close associate, Charlie Bell, it's not coming from the actual source. So it will be interesting to see how those stories break moving forward, because we know this is not the last of all the Kevin Durant talk and free agency. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.